Cooperate. Okay. So we're pointing the right way. That'll work. Okay.
So that was the, which one was that? The 8x squared thing, right?
Yeah, but 8x squared minus 10x.
All right. This would be a nice little review. It's one we've already done, but we can review the steps. What's the very first thing you should try?
Fifth.
True. So be more specific. GCF.
Yep.
You always try GCF first. Can anything come out of all three things? Damn. Stupid 25, right? All right, so I try that. So next thing to notice is how many terms are there. There's only 3, so it's not grouping. We're going to learn what to do when there's 2 terms later. There's 3 terms, but then the first number is not a 1. So I can't just jump to this. I can't. So what do I have to do? How does this process work when that's not a 1? Yeah, and they call it, this is probably the better name for it, it's called the AC method. See how that's in this form? You guys help me out. What's A for this problem? 8. What's B? Negative 10. And what's C? Negative 25. So they call it the AC method because we're math people. We're not, well, come on, I'm creative, I think. But you know, when you do it 8 times 2, so they call it the AC method is more likely. I call it the surefire method because that's what it was called when I was taught it.
Now this would make sense compared to some other scientific naming.
Oh, I see, yeah. We have a lot of trouble naming stuff, so it makes it, you're right. This one's kind of like a no-brainer. Okay. So the first step, when the first number, in fact, just to remind you guys, when I have something like this, we actually do, forget how to, there it is, Jeff. We actually do, what's the first number? 1. 1 times negative 28 is negative 28, and then I find factors of that add up to be 3, right? So we actually don't change what we do. We just don't realize that we are multiplying by 1 because it doesn't change anything. And that's why it's easier because the 1 doesn't mess anything up. The parts of 8 are going to mess some stuff up. That's what makes this different. So what is 8 times negative 25? Negative 200. And then I need factors of that to add to be that. And we found it was negative 20 and 10. So again, so to cross it with this, I find factors of this that add to be that, right?
Yes. 7.
Kick ass. And to be honest, if you did what we're about to do here, if you did it here, it would work. It would just be more work than you have to do. All right, so let's come back here. What would be the next step with those? Yeah, I rewrite the middle. And I was talking to somebody at the end of class as we were walking out the door. They were asking me, well, they put these in the reverse order and it still worked. And of course it would. We've seen that. If you switch these two in the middle very often, it will still work. When I have a choice, I'm going to put the positive one here. Because it's always when there's a negative here that I can make negative mistakes. So, hell yeah, I'm going to put a plus there if I can. I mean, if both of the numbers I'm working with are negative, oh well, I'm going to have to deal with it. But and now what do you do? Group, because there's 4 terms. Let me see if I can branch out and see what this feels like when there's more colors. I don't like it. So what comes out?
X. 2x minus 5. Yeah. Good job, Spencer.
There are all kinds of things. Plus
5x.
no x.
5.
Just 5.
Times 2x.
And what tells you you're on the right track?
The same.
These are the same. If these weren't the same, can you go further?
No.
Somehow people find a way.
Please say samey same. Just call them samey same, and we're good.
So now, what can come out? 2x minus 5. And then 4x plus 5.
Guess who's getting a bad teacher's review at the end of the year?
I like it.
You confused them because you just was like, say.
So if these are different, then you wouldn't be able to do that last step. It wouldn't make any sense. This is still
Yeah. I appreciate the effort.
was big.
He was like, do I really make that many cookies?
All right. Okay. Let me see. What do I? Let's do one more like that, unless somebody has a specific one. Dude, this one's gonna be grouped. You're in the section. Let's see. All you separate. So this is just general. This is just gonna be GCF. Yeah. Yeah. What's the matter? Let's see if we can do that one. All right. Shayma's picked out a really, really yummy one for us here.
13z squared plus 39z minus 26.
Is that really what it was? Plus there and a minus there, right?
Yes, plus.
Okay. All right. Man, they're being really mean.
Yeah, but it's right, and it's how.
This is problem number which one?
197.
197 from chapter 7, section 7.3. Yeah. So this is a problem I guess I assigned, right?
Sorry?
I never know. You could ask me anything, but I guess I assigned that one. Did I assign that one, or did it look interesting?
No.
I didn't assign it.
No.
Fantastic. I don't want to do your homework for you. So, real quick, I want to show you something. This is not the problem, but I want to show you. If the problem was this, there's something really kind of cool here.
Yes.
Well, actually, there's something cool anyway in the first place. I'm just seeing why they didn't make it as evil. What do you always try to do when there's a number here that's not 1? Yeah, try to take it out. Can 13 come out?
Yeah.
Yes. And what are you left with?
Z squared plus 13. 13, right? No.
3.
Yeah. Yes. It's
And now you'll understand why I said that it would be doable if it was this. Are there factors of -2 that add to be 3? No. It'd have to be 2 and 1, but they got to multiply to be -2. You guys see that? That's one of the more evil ways for something to be prime, is if it's just because of the signs that it doesn't work. So this isn't prime because I actually factored a 13 out. It's just that's the answer.
So
If that was a plus, we could go further.
So we say prime, but we factor.
No. Don't say prime.
Don't say.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, factor 6 and you go 2 times 3, so it's prime. No. You did something.
Uh-huh.
We did something. It's not prime. I just stopped.
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
What's the matter? So we took out a GCF
Yeah.
because 13 goes into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we wrote what was left. In order for this to work, I need factors of -2. Well, the only factors of -2 are these. Do either one of these pairs add up to be 3?
Yeah. No.
No, because there's a negative in there, right? -2 and 1 is -1. 2 and -1 is 1. Can't make 3. It's dead in the water. I like it. But it's not prime because we didn't factor a 13 out. It's just we stopped because we can't go any further. If that was a plus, then it would work because 2 and 1 make 3. I could actually go forward then, but it wasn't, so 2.
Thank you.
You guys, how you guys doing all right? Okay. I'm doing okay too, by the way. You know, okay. That's all right. So let's try one more like this, a real one like this, and then I'm going to unleash you on this little worksheet. I want to show you kind of like the thought process. I'm making one up on the go here. Is that going to be a good one? Sure. Is it?
No.
Oh, good. It will be. All right,
Oh,
ready?
dang.
So that- oh, that's a young. That's a.
Dude.
Do you guys? All right. I understand if you don't totally care, but you guys see what I did last. I put the middle one last. So what I was doing was, I did 80, and then I figured out ways to factor 80, and then I put it together to do the middle, because that's how I make a problem that's going to work. All right. So tell me how I would do this.
We find factors of 11. Factors of 11?
Uh-oh.
Multiply 8.
Yeah, the first number's not a 1, so you gotta take it into account. And I'm working with what now? -8. And then I want two numbers that do two things.
Add to -11.
Add to -11,
And multiply.
multiply to be -8. So if I were you, jeez. If I were you, I'd sit close to shit. No.
I didn't say it was long enough.
So just to go through the process. You could make a list of factors of 80. How many factors of 80 are? 80 is a really nice number. A lot of shit goes into it. Right? So I'd rather start by making a list of some things that add up to be -11. Are they going to be the same sign?
No.
No. So they're going to actually subtract to the 11. So what about 20 and 9? If 20 was negative, would that make -11 when I add them?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
-20 plus 9
I wasn't paying attention.
is that. Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
It should be.
I was just following.
But what's -20? So I really, do you guys get this idea? I need two numbers that do two things. Who gives a shit which one of these two I make happen first? So I'm going to make -11 happen, because that's easier. And then I'm going to check, does the 80 thing also happen? Well, no. What's 20 times 9? Holy shit. Sucks, Jeff. So if I go down a bit, because that's too big. So what about -15 and 4? And what's that multiply to be? 60. Now, do you see how it's a little bit of a game now? I was too big, so I went down. Now I'm too small. Let's go up one step. -16 and 5.
Yep, 80.
Do, Julie.
I knew it was a problem.
All right, let me stop there for a second. If you don't understand what I was just doing, you have no chance with a lot of factoring. Right? I mean, it's just the fact. Some of us are better at playing with numbers than others, but so what? Who gives a shit? We can all do it. Any class you go into, there's going to be people that are just naturally better at something. Good for them. Right? All right.
The school system should have.
What?
I want to change the school system.
All right. Let me know how it's going. You and me both, sister. But
It will eliminate low esteem and all of this, because every child will be good at something he wants, he or she. But
hopefully we can keep some standards. All right. So this is what we're going to work with, right? The -16 and 5. So how am I going to use that? What am I going to do? No. How am I going to use 16 and 5?
Just add to
Oh.
the problem.
Separate.
So the whole idea, when the first number's not a 1, it wants to make the 3-term dealio into a 4-term. And how do I do that so that it will factor? I've got to do this to figure out what's going to let it factor. I know it might be just me. I'm used to being the only one in the room.
2x.
Part of me loves that shit. Because there's a million ways to make -11. -5 and 6, right? -5, -6. 30 and -19. Or the other way around, -3 and 9. There's a million ways to make -11. Those are the only two numbers I could use to make the grouping work.
8x squared.
Yeah.
Minus 16. Minus.
Plus 5.
Oh yeah, plus 5. Yeah.
Plus 5x. And don't forget, those are just coefficients, right? do not forget whatever else there has got to go here and here. I like it. And then,
Minus 10.
so this became this. So have I really done anything? No, I haven't done anything. Go T. But what I did do is I reorganized it so now I can use group. What comes out of these two?
4x? Or
More.
8x.
8x.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
2x.
No.
It's going to be X.
8 divided by 8 is
1.
1. And I had 2x's, fifth one, that's 1 left. Minus
2?
2. And I had an x and I took it. Aw. Plus 5.
X
Minus 2.
minus 2.
Alright. Let's hoping everybody can see over there. And then the last step, what do I know I can do the last step?
Combine the.
You should take a drink right before you So I can take out an x minus 2. And if I do that, I'm left with
8x plus 5.
8x plus 5. Okay, I like it.
Another question.
Yes.
How do you know in a test whether you want us to use that style or this style?
What style? What's the difference in style? The difference was, could I do a GCF first here? Yes. So we did. And then we saw that we couldn't do any further. So why was I doing this problem different than this problem? I didn't. Because what's the first thing we try to do here? Take out something. But nothing's common. So you always try that first. Sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. And then what was left on the inside had a 1, so all I had to focus on was this guy, and I could see it wasn't going to work. Here, it's a freaking 8. Oh, shit. So since it's a different format, I should expect there to be a different process to follow, but the steps I go through are the same. Is there GCF? How many terms are there? Is the first number a 1? And then depending on that answer, it's different things I do. Yeah, okay, I like it. Yes?
So when you say if there is, so there's gonna be times when there's not a GCF?
Hell yeah. Right there. There was no GCF at the beginning, right?
Right.
Okay. I like it.
How would you know there's 9?
Is there anything that goes into all 3 of these?
No.
That has no x's?
No.
11 is not,
Okay.
I mean, 11 is prime, it's got nothing, so.
I just wanted to make sure.
I like it. All right. So, let's try this out. So please feel free to work together on this. Might as well. Because tomorrow you won't be able to work together on it.
Okay, team.
You distribute back there. Other one. Listen, you got one, right? Is it coming? Anna, do you have more?
Things first. Team.
You got one. There. Goes to Lacey.
I vote team abstinence.
Hey, it works. It's amazing.
Team abstinence.
It's absence.